Today we are going to be doing a water type only fire red run. This should be interesting, and it was really fun, I have to say. Let me explain to you the rules. First of all, only catch water type Pokemon. Dual typing is okay. Must play on set mode only when battling the Elite Four, and no leveling over the level cap of the next gym leader / Elite Four member. So you can't go over the level. Anyways, let's go pick my starter. It's probably pretty obvious who I'm gonna pick since I am doing a water type only run. I end up picking Squirtle. And I haven't used Squirtle ever in Fire Red, so this was my first time using it, and it was very fun. I end up naming him Bowser because he looks like a turtle, and yeah. Rival battle time. This was not the best battle I've ever fought. Thankfully, it wasn't a Nuzlocke, and we didn't have to keep resetting our game because, as you can see, Bulbasaur just landed a critical hit. And if we had one more turn, we could have killed it, but we ended up going down. And yeah. Anyways, instantly we go and challenge Brock after Viridian Forest. This was an easy battle, as you could expect, because we one-shotted both of his Pokemon, as they have quad weak types to water. So, down go both of them. And the good part is, after the battle, our Squirtle evolved into Wartortle. And this is a good thing for multiple reasons. It learns Bite pretty soon, which is a good move that can cause some serious damage due to the flinching effect. And it just gets so many attack boosts. Our next Pokemon is the Magikarp that we buy from this man in the Pokemon Center right next to Mount Moon. I name him Fishstick, and this is the most annoying Pokemon I've ever used because he didn't know any moves. Anyways, after Mount Moon, next is our rival battle. We had to keep pivoting him out of the battle to switch into Bowser, the Wartortle, but it wasn't the hardest. This Pidgeot definitely, I will say, was the most annoying Pokemon in this battle because I could not hit my Mega Kicks, and he just kept quick attacking over and over. Eventually, I did hit one though, and we continued. He sends out Bulbasaur, and I do make a sacrifice because I don't want to have to go through this all over again, so I just send out Magikarp. He dies, and here we go, Mega Kick. We barely survive a Bind Whip, and next is Dead. Abra comes out. He only knows Teleport, so we can one-shot him. Next up is the Rattata. Some very strong Pokemon he has there. We one-shot it pretty easily. Well, after that, we have no choice but to go and fight Misty. But he gives us a very important item, the Fame Checker. I don't think I used this in this entire run. I've never used the Fame Checker. Anyways, yep, next run is Misty. And once again, we're pivoting Magikarp out of battle because he's so bad. I don't even think he knows Tackle yet, so. We thankfully hit a Mega Kick doing just over half damage, and it gets a crit Water Pulse. Not doing that much damage. For a crit, that should do a lot more. Anyways, the normal Water Pulse hardly does any damage, and we kill the Staryu. Next is Starmie, and you could argue this was even easier than the Staryu because of the Psychic type that it possesses. We two-shotted it with Bite, and yeah. Pretty interesting. We almost get the KO, but Misty decides to use a Super Potion, so we kill it in another Mega Kick, which gets a critical hit just for good luck. Alright. Next is the rival battle on the SS Anne. And this was pretty easy. Magikarp is almost a Gyarados, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, we one-shot the Pidgeotto because it's 10 levels under me. Next up is Ivysaur, who we also almost one-shot. So close, but he doesn't have any potions, so we can just hit him with a bite after that. We pivot into Magikarp against the Raticate, so we can get a good switch out. And the Raticate, to be fair, wasn't that hard to kill. We crit Mega Punch him. Next up is Kadabra, and this is his last Pokemon, and we can easily one-shot this thing by just using Bite. This thing's defense is not the best. Bite. Alright, we decide to go take on Lieutenant Surge. Even though everybody's thinking this should be really hard, it actually wasn't too hard. We start off with Gyarados, who hits with a bite, causing Voltorb to flinch. Hits with another bite, causes it to flinch again. Hits with the third bite, and the Voltorb lands a Shockwave. Lieutenant Surge super potions, and we just decide to whip away with bite. Voltorb flinches, Voltorb Shockwaves, but we do go down. Next, we send out Bowser, the Wartortle, and bite our way through the Voltorb. Next up is Pikachu. This was no issue. We just digged underground and one shot. Now the Raichu wasn't actually a big deal at all. We could easily he hits a Shockwave and we just dig underground. We're 6 levels above it and we just kill it without even critting, which I didn't expect, but good. We make our way through Rock Tunnel. The reason I'm standing here so long is because it took me so long to make my way through, and I was so happy and overjoyed. Anyways, we decide the first thing we want to do is make our way to Lavender Town and fight our rival. He leads off with his Pidgeotto at level 25. We lead off with Fish Stick. We hit him with a Dragon Rage, doing just over half of his HP, and hit it with another Dragon Rage, but we miss. So we miss, and we kept missing 4 times in a row. I didn't even have time to say anything because we just kept missing. It was so hard to land a shot on this guy. Anyways, next is Gyarados. He has his Gyarados of his own. And we hit a Mega Punch, hardly doing anything. So we just whip away with bite, flinching. I don't think this one didn't flinch, but we kill it with a Mega Punch. Next up is Ivysaur, who we switch back into Fish Stick due to its flying type now, so Razor Leaf isn't super effective. And whip away with Dragon Rage, doing just over half HP again, and killing it. Next up is the Growlithe. We don't have any water moves on Gyarados, so we just have to spam Bite. We get a lucky crit on the first try, and then we get burned. Burning lowers your attack, so we just decide to Dragon Rage it. Next up is Kadabra, and I made a stupid move keeping him in because he just ended up going down. We switch into Bowser and just bite it, killing it in one shot. Easy rival battle. Next up is Erica, and this seems hard once again, but it was actually pretty easy. Dragon Rage the Victory Bell, it will stun spore me, then use Paralyze Heal, which we bought 10 of, while it Giga Drains. We also hit another bite to make it flinch, and then finish it off with a Dragon Rage. That's her first Pokemon down. Next up is Tangela. This was actually really easy. I think it's easy for everyone. Tangela is not the hardest Pokemon to beat. We bite, it uses Ingrain and Giga Drain and absorbs a lot of HP from us. But we do end up killing it. And then comes out Vileplume. Hit him with a bite, flinch. Hit him with a bite, stun spore. I don't know what it is with Erica, but her Pokemon just love using Stun Spore. Decide to hit it with a Dragon Rage, it Stun Spores me, uses Giga Drain, but that's not enough to save it from another Dragon Rage. Down goes the Vileplume. Anyways, now that Erica is defeated, we can go take on Giovanni and the Rocket Hideout. We send out Bowser to Water Pulse the Onix and be one-shot due to its quad weakness against water. Next up is the Rhyhorn, who also has a quad weakness to water, so it also goes down. Now here was the issue, Kangaskhan. We use Water Pulse, not doing that much damage, so we switch into Brick Break, doing quite a bit of damage. But next up, a Bite, and we flinch, and then it Mega Punches, which kills us. So we send out Fish Stick, who gets off an Intimidate and kills the Kangaskhan. That's Giovanni down. We rescue Mr. Fuji using the Silph Scope that Giovanni gave us, and he gives us a Pokeflute in return. We get our next teammate, which is an Eevee. We give the Eevee the nickname of Bubble, and quickly we evolve it with a Water Stone into Vaporeon. Now Vaporeon is one of the most overpowered high special attack, high special defense Pokemon ever. Like, this thing was insane throughout this run. Anyways, we get a quick evolution, and early on it's not really that good till you get the HM for Surf, because all it knows is quick attack. We then decide to catch ourselves a Poliwhirl, who was really good but did not make our finals team for the Elite Four. We named the Poliwhirl Froggy because, as you can see, it's a frog with a target in the middle. You can definitely tell that it's a frog, yep. And yeah, Froggy is in our team now, and we instantly evolve it into Poliwrath. We teach it the TM for Brick Break and continue our run. There it is. Froggy evolved into Poliwrath. Next up is Koga, and we were severely underleveled, so I was relying on Bubble to carry us. We one-shot the Coughing and learned the move Aurora Beam. I did not expect her to learn that. Anyways, next comes out the Muck. And it's very tanky and loves to use the move Minimize, so I was pretty scared of this thing. However, we actually are able to get out without getting poisoned and just 3-shot it. Next is the Coughing, who, as the first one, died in 1 shot. Last up is the Wheezing, who seems like the tankiest one, but we critical hit 1-shot it. This Vaporeon is OP in Fire Red. We instantly go and take on our rival in Silph Co. Lead off with Blastoise and hit it with a Surf, which does not that much damage. But we critical hit on the next turn, so down goes the Blastoise. Venusaur comes in, so we switch into Fish Stick, because it doesn't resist, but it doesn't, grass type moves aren't super effective. We Hyper Beam it, doing just over half HP. It missed both its Sleep Powders, so we can finish it off with another Hyper Beam. When he tries to switch in the Gyarados, we switch back into Bubble. And yep, he sends it out, we get intimidated, and we just kind of spam Aurora Beam, which doesn't do a lot, but it was the only move that we had right now that was at least neutral. It hits us with a few Dragon Rages, but we eventually kill it with our last Aurora Beam. Growlithe comes out, who is a fire type, so obviously gets 1-shotted. Next up is the one and only Alakazam, who seems scary at first, but we 2-shot it with Bite. He didn't even have time to pull off his future side attack. After we beat our rival, we go and talk to the man right next to him to claim ourselves a Lapras, who we name Loch Ness, because he does look like the Loch Ness Monster, if you'll have heard of it. Next up is Sabrina. My plan was to just try to get Loch Ness as much XP as it can, but it doesn't last too long. Thankfully, it at least kills the Kadabra, but it doesn't survive the Mr. Mime that comes out next. We surf it one more time and down it goes. Level up. Yep, next comes the Mr. Mime, and we surf one time, doing not a lot of damage, but we take the future side attack, and then I decide to use Confuse Ray. Luckily hurts itself in confusion, but then I use Parashong, and Mr. Mime has soundproof, so it's not able to kill it. That was a stupid move by me, but it is what it is. Anyways, next comes Gyarados. We bite it first, Mr. Mime flinches, and then we hit it with a Hyper Beam. Venomoth comes out next, and we decide to switch into the OP Vaporeon to just kill all of her Pokemon. We accidentally use Aurora Beam, but then finish it off with a Surf. Out comes Alakazam, who we hit with a Surf. It Calm Minds, which is very scary, but we still are able to critical hit it with Bite. So that was pretty good, with no Pokemon dead against Alakazam. Next up is Blaine, and this would go as you would expect. The Growlithe comes. We're literally 12 levels under leveled. It does a pretty decent amount of damage, but we one-shot it. Next is the Ponyta, which comes out, uses Fire Blast, which is really annoying, and gets one-shotted too. Next up is the Rapidash, who for some reason I decided to keep in and Hyper Potion Loch Ness. It hits a Fire Blast. I assume that it will miss it next turn, so I Hyper Potion again, but I end up getting burned, and so I Hyper Potion again, and it hits another Fire Blast. So then I decide I'm done, and I just switch into Gyarados to try and get out as much HP as I can before he goes down. He takes a bit of damage from the Rapidash's Fire Blast, but Rapidash uses his last PP for Fire Blast, so anyways, he couldn't have done that much more damage. His last Pokemon is Arcanine, which is one of the most scariest Pokemon in this whole game. But since we have only water types, it wasn't that hard. It missed the takedown. We hit it with another Surf. It actually hits the takedown. Then Leader Blaine decides to Hyper Potion his Arcanine. So we hit it with another Surf, hit it with another Surf, and end up critical hitting it. So no Pokemon fainted to the Arcanine, which was really nice. Anyways, last but not least was Giovanni, and after fighting him 2 times, I was pretty confident, especially since he had ground types. The theme continues, and we start off with Loch Ness, as we are 12 levels under leveled, but we still end up one-shotting the Rhyhorn. Next comes out another Rhyhorn. Now we're 17 levels under leveled, but we still outspeed and one-shot. Next comes the Nidoqueen, who was really scary at first, but we tank an Earthquake pretty well. Hit it with a Surf, doing just over half. Tank another Earthquake, and then take it out with another Surf. That was a really scary Pokemon eliminated. On the Nidoking, we decide to switch into Froggy, and we just pretty much sweep the rest of the run with just Froggy as we surf the Nidoking. But we do end up surviving on 3 HP to another Earthquake. Next comes out Dugtrio, so I decide, instead of trying to sweep with Froggy, just to switch into Bowser the Blastoise and just surf it one time. It gets off an Earthquake, doing a decent amount of damage, but we do end up killing it with a Surf. There goes Giovanni. Next up, our rival battle in right outside the gym. We are still really under-leveled, so we hit Pidgeot with a Blizzard, doing just over half damage again. He hits us with a Feather Dance, which is a pretty stupid move since we're using a special attacking move. But the Pidgeot goes down. At this point, when the Venusaur comes out, I am really scared because I know this thing is level 53. It one-shots our Blastoise. So I bring in Loch Ness to try and get some good damage on it. We start off Confuse Rang it as it uses Sweet Scent, which is kind of a waste of a turn, but we get off a Confuse Ray. It thankfully hurts itself in confusion, so we get off an Ice Beam, doing a chunk of damage, and it hurts itself in confusion again, so we hit another Ice Beam, leaving just over half HP, just over dead HP. But he one-shots us. Next comes out Bubble. I thought she would die instantly, but she survives on 15 HP just to show how much of a tank this Pokemon is. We kill the Venusaur. Next out is Rhyhorn, who we end up one-shotting, thankfully, because Bubble doesn't look like she can survive another hit. Anyways, we now have to face a Gyarados. As he sends it out, I decide to keep Bubble in and Hyper Potion, since he is a big tank and will survive a lot of attacks. So we just peck away with Aurora Beam, trying to do as much damage as we can. It Rain Dances, which I probably should have taken advantage of by using Surf, but we spam Aurora Beam. It tries to Hydro Pump using the Rain Boost, but we have Water Absorb, which absorbs that damage. It uses Twister, doing 10 damage, which is not very good for a Gyarados. And we end up using Surf, which I thought would kill, but leaves it on a sliver of HP. But thankfully, we just Quick Attack it. Next up is Growlithe, who is obviously not that big of a threat since we can just one-shot with Surf, and down it goes. Last up is Alakazam, who is once again really scary, but I decide to just peck away with with Bite, and which was a pretty stupid move since considering that it'll just disable it, but who cares at this point? It raises its attack and special attack. We hit it with another Bite, another one, and Quick Attack it, which I thought would kill once again, but didn't. It hits us with a super powerful Psychic, leaving us on just over red HP, but we take it down to beat our rival. We now, on our grinding for the Elite Four journey, we pick up a Kabuto since it has the dual rock typing and can be really useful. I end up naming it Quartz because quartz is a type of rock, and yeah, it's just a cool name. So we go and retrieve the Kabuto, and after a while, grinding it to level 55, it evolves into one of my favorite Pokemon in Gen 1, Kabutops. I mean, how can you not like this Pokemon? Just look at it. It looks so strong with the blades as hands, and it looks really rocky. Anyways, after making our way through Victory Road, it's now time for the Elite Four and the final challenge of this run. This could be the end of this journey, as long as we can beat the Elite Four the first try with our water types. First up is Lorelei, and I decided to keep Lapras as my first Pokemon because we had picked up the TM for Thunderbolt, just specifically for this battle. One Thunderbolt is enough to kill out the Dugong, and since we are on set mode, we can't switch out without having to, we can't switch out before she sends out her next Pokemon. So we just have to keep our Lapras in and one-shot the Cloyster, which is no surprise. It has literally no special defense. And the Slowbro uses Amnesia, which is pretty stupid because we end up killing it. Next up is the Jinx, and it was pretty scary at first, saying that it could lovely kiss us, which it does end up doing. And we end up going for a full heal. And the reason we swapped into Gyarados was because I taught it the TM for Flamethrower, and she puts my Gyarados to sleep again. I decided to full restore since we have a lot of them, and we just hyper beam the Jinx. Now the problem is that we need to recharge and we can't switch out our Pokemon. Fish Stick is frozen solid, but instead of switching him out, I switch into Loch Ness because we're 6 levels ahead. It does like 10 damage and we can just Thunderbolt it, doing just over half. The problem is we get paralyzed and it has a citrus berry, so that wasn't very good. We leave it in the red health, and unluckily Lorelei decides to use a full restore. Taking advantage of this, I decide to full heal my Loch Ness so we don't have the paralysis anymore. It wasn't really a useful move because it ended up paralyzing me again. So we hit it with another Thunderbolt, leaving it with a sliver of HP. Knowing that she'll full restore again, I full heal my Lapras again. We hit it with another Thunderbolt, doing just over half HP, and hit it with a Strength. We get hit with a Body Slam and kill it with a Thunderbolt. That's Elite Four Lorelei gone. Next up is Elite Four Bruno. The problem is that we don't have any flying types besides Gyarados, but Gyarados doesn't know any flying moves. So we have to just count on Loch Ness's Surfs. We kill the Onix one-shot, no surprise there. The Hitmonchan comes out. I'm scared of this, but it misses the Sky Uppercut, so we critical hit one-shot it. Very lucky. Hitmonlee comes out. It uses Brick Break, doing just over half HP. And I'm thinking about keeping him in, and that was a stupid move because we do end up dying. Very sad. Anyways, Bubble comes in next, and he misses a Mega Kick, so we easily take it out. Bubble starts to sweep, and when Machamp comes out, we surf it, doing just over half HP. It uses a Citrus Berry, so now it's in the red zone, and Bruno is about to use a full restore. We hit it with another Surf, doing just over half again. It hits us with a super critical hit Cross Chop, taking out Bubble for this battle. We couldn't solo, but Blastoise comes in and does almost no damage at all. So Bruno has to full restore again. We hit it with a Surf, doing just over half HP again. Hit it with another Surf, and it misses the Cross Chop, so we killed a Machamp. Very scary Pokemon. Last up is Onix, and yeah, we kind of just surfed our way through it. It did hit us with a critical hit Earthquake, but it wasn't enough to kill us. Anyways, we do end up defeating Elite Four Bruno. I was very surprised, but now it's time to take on Agatha. This wasn't the hardest battle due to this one TM I bought for Vaporeon, Shadow Ball. So, against the double teaming Gengar, I hit him with a critical hit Shadow Ball, one-shotting it. Golbat comes out, air cutters me, critical hits, and I ice beam it. One-shotting once again. Bubble is just insane. Like, insane. Arbok comes out, and we switch into a Blastoise because of the Earthquake that Blastoise possesses. We think that'll one-shot, but it leaves it right in the red zone. She uses a full restore, so I Earthquake it again. Almost killing it again, and killing it in the next turn. Out comes Gengar. We are hurt by poison and die. We decide to send out Gyarados to try and hit a few powerful moves, but just to make sure, I Dragon Dance to raise the attack and speed, get hit with a Shadow Ball, hit a Surf, which was pretty stupid for Dragon Dancing since we were only using special attacking moves, but still, we got that boost we needed. We Flamethrower it again, we get a crit, which was pretty annoying, but we do get a burn. Crit was annoying because now Agatha would have full restored, but we got a burn, so yeah. We get hit with a Mean Look from Haunter, but it's not enough and we two-shot it. Last up is probably the easiest Elite Four member of this whole run. Ironically, it's Lance, and this is a very easy battle due to his dragon types and all my Pokemon knowing Ice Beam. Anyways, he leads off with Gyarados. I probably should have led off with Lapras just to get a Thunderbolt, so I end up having to switch by myself. And yeah, we get off with Thunderbolt, one-shotting it due to its quad weak typing to Electric. It sends out Aerodactyl. We hit it with a Surf after it hits us with an Ancient Power. And the Surf actually one-shots it. Very scary Pokemon gets one-tapped. Claim the XP. Which is taking way too long. I don't know why I took that long to claim XP. Anyways, Dragonair comes out. We Ice Beam it, killing it in one shot. Next is the next Dragonair. As you could expect, we also one-shot it. Last but not least is the easiest Pokemon in this whole thing. Except for the fact that it killed my Loch Ness because it outspeed. But as you can tell, Ice Beam will one-shot it due to its quad weak typing to Ice. Flying Dragon are quad weak to Ice. We gain our XP and defeat Elite Four Lance. Last up is the rival battle. And it would have been easier if I hadn't forgotten to heal my Pokemon. But it is what it is, and here's the rival battle. This is for champion of water types and of the whole Kanto region. He sends out Pidgeot, so I have Bubble ready. We Ice Beam as it hits an Aerial Ace. We Ice Beam for almost a one-hit KO. It decides to full restore, so we hit another Ice Beam, doing almost a KO again. So we hit it with a last Ice Beam, and down goes the Pidgeot. Next up is the Venusaur. I decide to switch out into Quartz. This was a pretty stupid move, but it wasn't for a kill. It was for a sacrifice. I didn't use the Quartz this whole run, and just to sacrifice him was a pretty sad move, but we had to do it for the Champion of Kanto title. He decides to go for Sunny Day, which was the stupidest move I've ever seen, because now we have a boosted Flamethrower. We were able to one-shot the Venusaur. We hit a Surf, but thanks to the water-type moves we possess, it didn't one-hit KO due to the Sunny Day. Anyways, next is the Alakazam. My plan was just to spam Flamethrower since it was boosted, but it didn't do that much, and we ended up losing our Sun. Anyways, we decide to full restore, thinking that it will help us defeat Alakazam, and we Hyper Beam it, just for good measure. He sends out Gyarados, which is at the same level almost, but we have taken a lot of damage, and we're left with Bowser. It gives us a Thrash. We hit him with a Ice Beam. It freezes it, thankfully. We hit it with another Ice Beam. It's still frozen. It decides to full restore, getting rid of its freeze. We Ice Beam. We Ice Beam again, but it hits us with a Dragon Rage. another Dragon Rage, another Ice Beam, and a full restore once again. He full restores too, and this has just been a back and forth battle so far. He hits us with a Dragon Rage, we hit him with an Ice Beam. He hits us with a Dragon Rage, we hit him with an Ice Beam. We run out of PP for Ice Beam, so we hit him with a Silph, doing a pretty decent amount of damage. He hits us with a Dragon Rage, we hit him with a Silph. We full restore. He full restores. Wow, what would I expect? Who else? It hits us with a Dragon Rage, we hit it with a Silph. It's confused, it hits us with a Thrash, and we crit on the Silph. It hits us with a Thrash, killing us, and that was a really pointless move. Anyways, Bubble comes in as our last Pokemon. Gyarados hurts itself in confusing, allowing us to kill it with an easy Ice Beam. It sends out its final Pokemon, Arcanine, and it hits off an extreme speed, but it wasn't enough to survive an Ice Beam, giving us the Champion of Water Pokemon title in Fire Red. Oak comes to tell us how great we are and how much our rival sucks for not loving his Pokemon. I don't care. We beat Fire Red with only water Pokemon, which was an insane run, and I love that in the Hall of Fame it's displaying my water Pokemon. Here is the team. Saving, don't turn off the power. Bubble the Vaporeon, Bowser the Blastoise, Loch Ness the Lapras, Fish Stick the Gyarados, and Quartz the Kabutops. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.